Let's get you up to date on the numbers as we get ready to go into the final moments of trade here on this Tuesday on the Market Day Report. All right, over in the corn market, and these futures are provided by Bar Chart. July corn up 12 3/4, now 12 1/2, $5.93. That leaves us 4.5 cents off of the top end of that trading range. December up 8 1/2 at $5.28 3/4. Soybeans, and keep in mind this market did surge higher earlier in the day. July soybeans up 22 1/2 at $14.59, and now that new crop November is up 14 3/4. And new crop is very important, especially when it comes to wheat, because we've got a wheat crop in the ground, especially HRW wheat, and we've got July Chicago up 10 1/4 at $6.64. Kansas City wheat for July now 9 3/4 higher at $6.28 1/2. It's been backing off all morning long with about a 25-cent trading or 30-cent trading range. July Minneapolis wheat up 6 1/4 at $6.77 3/4. Let's look at cotton for December. It's up 39 points at 82.89. Joining us right now is Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge. Ted, good to have you on the program today. I want to get your thoughts on this, and I want to bring this up. This is Exhibit A. Jeff Womack was just talking about this. This is freeze warnings and frost warnings and things like that across the nation. And when you look at his weather map here, it extends quite a big area, and there's some corn and soybeans planted in some of this area. So is this what we're seeing here today that's driving this market, or is there something else at work?
Yeah, no, so John, that is definitely a big part of what we're seeing here today. This is sort of peak weather concern for a spring growing season. At least I think it's going to be the peak concern for our weather. Yes, we could have some freeze damage. For me, that's a bigger problem for the wheat than anything else. Corn and beans that have been planted, hey, we've got a lot of time to go in and replant that. And we're actually not even really late as far as planting is concerned. Yes, we're going to see that number slip behind a little bit when we look at crop progress next week. But how many times have we planted 30 or 40 million acres of corn in a week? We've got a ton of time. The other portion of this weather concern, though, is South America. Brazil got not much rain over the weekend. They did get some, but not enough to really tide them over to finish off the crop, not even close. And their forecast looks pretty dry. So those two things combined really has the market's attention, and we're going higher. The big thing that it sort of sparked the soybeans higher today was Brazil saying that we're gonna raise our import duties on corn and beans so that we can bring in corn and beans from other places. I don't know if they'll ever actually do that, or at least do it in a big scale. But wow, the prospect of us exporting beans to Brazil is pretty exciting, and certainly the soybean market is excited about it here today.
And you know what? If we would have a weather hiccup, that could work in reverse, too, next year. There's some folks already talking about that with the tight supplies we have. Ted, stay right where you are. We're going to come back in just a moment and talk livestock. We've got the new estimates for the cattle on feed report. Marlon Bowling just handed these to me, and we'll go over that next. Futures first here on the livestock segment on the Market Day Report, and they're provided again by Bar Chart. April live cattle up a dime a hundredweight at 120.45. June fats up 75 and August up 87. We have backed off of the highs over here as well, like we did over in the grain market. And the May feeder cattle contract is up 47 cents at 142.95. Got as high as 143.55. August up 177, and the September is up $1.70. And here we go with the hogs again, with May up 225 at 107.90. Ted, we've made a new contract high over here in this May hog contract, and the rest of the contracts following along. A lot of support there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the hogs look great on the chart. We did have our correction in the deferred months. You know, that August came down right to where key support was. We turned around, we put it back higher. Looking really good to the upside. I think there's more upside there potential for the hogs. As far as the cattle are concerned, really interesting to see that the feeder cattle are higher on a day where corn is sharply higher. You really like how that looks. And overall, yeah, you know, we had a slide. We had a pretty sizable slide off the highs in the cattle. But I think here's where we find our footing and try to head back up towards those highs again, as long as the cash cattle progresses higher as well. And no major hiccups on the cattle on feed report on Friday.
Marlon Bowling just handed these to me, so these are just fresh new, hot off the press, Ted. I want to go over them with you here and see what you think. On-feed estimates going into this Friday's cattle on feed report. 106.2 on feed, Placements at 134.3. That is not a misprint. And marketing's at 101.1. My God, this is the biggest one we've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, it was some really big numbers. You know, the on-feed number is sort of expected. We're still a little bit backed up from COVID. That placement number is just a really, really big number. But if you look at domestic demand, it is so very strong. We can kind of justify that.
Do you think we'll have to justify that also with cash at holding in here? You know, we did have that little bit of a pullback. What did we go through? 8 sessions where we kept correcting that market, kept pulling back, and now we're surging ahead. So have we got all of the correction out of the way, you think?
Yeah, I think most of that had to be technical in nature. I mean, we really needed to correct that market from a sense that we were really overbought, and we needed to kind of alleviate that. We stopped right at our key support, and we bounced off of it, and so far the bounce looks good. So yeah, I think we have flushed it out. I think cash has room to go higher. Again, box beef price is really very good. Those placement numbers could be an issue further on down the line, but at least for right now, I think there's more room to go and test those highs again in live cattle.
Okay, Ted, tonight on the Real Evening News, we'll talk a little bit more here about these markets and everything and get your thoughts as we get ready to launch into Wednesday. You have a good afternoon. Let's look at these outside markets also, and we'll stop by the Dow one more time here today. And we're down 296 points at 33,662. And crude oil, which took a big hit earlier in the day, off of the low, 62.55. It's down 83 cents. Janet, back to you.